Welcome to Cyber Certified. Today we are buckling up for a deep dive into Zero Trust Security, or ZTS. We look through all the sources you sent, articles, internal notes, analyst reports, and, well, what really jumped out was this total rejection of the old way of doing security.
It really is a paradigm shift, plain and simple.
Yeah?
And let's be clear right up front. Zero Trust, it's a security model, it's a philosophy, not just some box you plug in.
Hmm.
The core idea, the really powerful bit is never trust, always verify.
Right. I like that clarity because for decades it was all about the moat and castle, wasn't it?
Right.
Build a big firewall, that's your moat, and anything inside the castle walls, well, it was automatically trusted.
Mm-hmm.
But the sources kept saying, basically, the castle's empty now and the moat's dried up.
It pretty much has, yeah.
Yeah.
That traditional model, it just fell apart the minute corporate data started living in the cloud.
Yeah.
And when people started working from home, from cafes, using their own devices.
Yeah,
Well, the whole idea of a secure inside just vanished.
the perimeter just dissolved.
Exactly. ZTS looks at that reality and says, okay, there is no safe internal network anymore. We have to assume a breach could happen anywhere,
Yeah.
anytime. So we verify everything and everyone every single time they try to access something.
Okay, so if that's the philosophy, the big idea, how does it actually work? What are the rules, the blueprint that makes zero trust real? Let's maybe unpack those core principles. I think you said there were 4.
Yeah, 4 main ones. And what's interesting is how they all sort of link together. So number 1, the big one, never trust, always verify. And this isn't just about your password anymore. It means the system checks who you are, probably using multi-factor authentication.
MFA, right.
Right. It checks the health of your device. Is it patched? Is it encrypted? And it even looks at your behavior, like where you're logging in from, before it lets you in.
Okay, so verify, verify, verify. And then once someone is let in, we still limit them, right? That's principle 2.
That's least privilege access.
Exactly. Users only get the absolute minimum permissions needed for their specific task. That's it. If you work in marketing, you shouldn't have access to, say, the finance database. It sounds obvious, but...
But it limits the damage if something goes wrong, like an insider threat, or even just someone accidentally clicking a bad link.
Precisely. It contains the potential blast radius.
Okay, so the next 2 principles, they seem focused on what happens if a breach occurs, containing the fallout.
You got it. Number 3 is microsegmentation. Think of your network like a big building. Instead of letting an intruder roam freely from room to room once they're inside, microsegmentation is like locking every single door. You break the network into tiny, isolated zones. So if an attacker gets into one server, say in accounting, they can't just jump over to the HR systems. That's lateral movement. They're stuck.
They hit a wall, they have to re-authenticate, prove themselves all over again for that different zone.
Every single time. And the final piece, the 4th principle, is kind of the guardian watching over all of this. The constant vigilance part.
Yes, continuous monitoring and analysis. The system is always watching. Is someone logging in from an unusual place, suddenly trying to download huge amounts of data? If it spots anything suspicious, anything abnormal for that user or device, boom, access can be challenged or just cut off immediately.
And you often hear SASE mentioned here, right? Secure Access Service Edge. Is that how this monitoring gets delivered?
Often, yes. SASE is a way to bundle networking and the security functions like ZTS enforcement together in the cloud. It helps make that continuous checking happen wherever the user is.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this right. If I'm at home trying to open a specific project file, the Zero Trust system checks my login with MFA, checks my laptop's security updates, sees I'm logging in from my usual location, and confirms I actually have permission for that specific file right now.
That's a perfect summary. And it's doing that constantly in the background. And crucially, if something changes, maybe your antivirus stops working mid-session, that continuous monitoring sees it, reevaluates, and might block your access until you fix it.
Okay, but here's the pushback I sometimes hear. Doesn't all this checking, this constant verification, doesn't it just make it harder for people to do their jobs? Doesn't it create friction?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, it's the main challenge in implementing ZTS well. The goal is actually secure, seamless access for legitimate, verified users. Good ZTS uses smart automation, policy engines. It should be mostly invisible.
Until something's wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It only becomes noticeable when there's a potential risk. If it's implemented badly, then yes, it can be incredibly frustrating. But done right, security happens behind the scenes.
Right. So let's get to the so what.
Yeah.
Why go through all this potential complexity and cost? What's the big payoff?
The number 1 benefit, and it's huge, is containment. It dramatically shrinks the impact if an attack does succeed. If someone steals credentials, they don't get the keys to the kingdom anymore. They get stuck in one tiny micro-segmented area.
So they can't move laterally.
Exactly. They can't pivot and steal everything. It turns a potential catastrophe into a much smaller, manageable incident.
That makes sense. And I remember seeing a note in the sources about, well, the less exciting stuff, the paperwork, audits, and compliance.
Oh yeah, that's often the hidden bonus because everything is logged, everything is verified, everything is based on clear policy. It makes proving compliance for regulations, doing those yearly audits, much, much simpler. One source estimated like a 40% cut in audit prep time.
Wow. Okay, that's actually a significant saving.
It really can be. The structure it forces actually pays off in reducing that bureaucratic headache. Which brings us to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. How much of your own work environment, your daily digital interactions, still relies on that old implicit trust? That assumption that being inside somehow makes you safe, rather than needing continuous real-time verification.
Something to think about. If you like this podcast, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel.